Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Right, Deontay Wilder has actually spoken a lot of truth in this article, which of course I'll put in the description box as always for you guys. Go have a read of it if you like after you finish listening to this video. And I can agree with a lot of the things that Wilder says. He contradicts himself at times. You guys know me, I will be pointing that out. But what he says and the message that he's trying to get across, he's absolutely correct. And I can't knock it. And he's been saying the same thing in this article that I've been saying for a long time. And we'll get straight into his statement. Of course, he was asked about Luis Ortiz. He responded to Luis Ortiz and then went off about other things. So this is what Deontay Wilder had to say. Ortiz, yeah, the heavyweight division is very small. So, why not have 2 or 3 fights? All these guys, that's why I don't understand why none of the big fights haven't happened thus far. If you lose, okay, rebuild yourself and get back up. Most time in life, many people lose, but they give up. And the great thing about life is that people want to see how you fall and get back up. It's easy to stay on top. It's easy to be a winner with no losses and different things like that. Everybody wants to be a winner, but a real winner, a true winner, is somebody that falls from that platform because everybody wants to see how they develop themselves and get back up in life. And that's why I don't care about my record. You know what I mean? That's how you become a 2-time champion, 3-time champion, 4-time champion. And the heavyweight division, like I said, is very small. So we've got to make the big fights happen. It's one loss. You can come back. Look at most of these challenges. They lose many different fights, but how many times have they got title fights? Look at Brazil. He lost before to Joshua, and now he's fought in another title fight against me. And the list goes on and on. So that is Deontay Wilder's statement. So as you can tell there, he has said a lot of truth in that one. I've been saying it for a long time. I know a lot of you guys have too. Taking a loss is not the end of the world. It really isn't. A loss should never define your career. It just shouldn't. So what Wilder's saying is absolutely correct, and I applaud it because it's about time that he actually said something sensible, right? It's been a long time waiting. But the contradiction with him saying this is the fact that Joshua said this about a year or so ago, that Joshua, he says, well, who knows, maybe one day I'm going to lose. And if I lose, I'll bounce back up again. That is what Joshua said. Wilder and his fans were saying, see, champions don't talk like that. They don't talk like they're about to lose. They don't talk about maybe they're going to lose. It's win, 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 win. So his fans will not hold Wilder to the same standard that they held to Joshua. These guys know exactly what it is I'm talking about, and they know who they are. But they're not going to hold Wilder to that standard. If anything, they'll then either ignore that Wilder said this, or they'll back it and not even pay mention to the fact that Joshua once said this before, and then they slated him for it. So there's a contradiction on that one. As far as the heavyweight division being small, and he doesn't understand why the big fights aren't happening, again, because you're not signing contracts, bro. You want way too much money. You want more than what you're actually worth. Listen, it's not my business. It's nobody's business how much a fighter gets paid. But we know the bottom line is, one way to not get a fight is to price yourself out. And that's what Wilder has been doing. And he doesn't want the Joshua fight. Or his team don't want it. Someone on the lines don't want the fight. But he is right in what he says. The big fight should be happening. If Joshua takes on Wilder and Joshua loses, let's see how Joshua bounces back. If Wilder loses, let's see how Wilder bounces back. The other one go fight Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury versus Dillian White. The winner fights the winner of Joshua Wilder. However it plays out, let's just get an undisputed champion. Let's see who is the best. And whoever loses, go fight the other guy who lost, and then bounce back from there, and so on, so on, so and so. In history, most great fighters have lost. And I've always said this, that for me, any fighter who's undefeated is for one of 2 reasons. Number one, they are just supremely brilliant, which doesn't really happen, to be fair. Everybody can take a loss. Everybody has that button where they can get stopped and outboxed and maybe get gifted decisions, draws, for example. And the other one would be because you're carefully selecting who it is that you fight. And this is the truth of it. This is where Wilder comes in. He's been very, very carefully selecting who it is that he fights, each and every time. The one with Tyson Fury backfired on him. Of course, he wants revenge on that one. And again, I can only applaud Wilder for wanting that rematch. If you get a draw, if you take a loss, you should try and want to rectify that. And that is the one criticism that I have with Tyson Fury, that he had the opportunity but didn't do it. He's more interested now on building his brand. Listen, everybody wants to make money. There's nothing wrong with making money. If you can go out and earn 10, 20, 50, 100 million for one fight, good on you. Good on you. But ultimately, what you can't do is go around running and saying it's not about money. It's all about legacy. I promise my fans, I love my fans, one face, one name, one champion. When a champion calls your name, you rise to the challenge. It should never be about money. I'll fight anyone, anywhere. It doesn't matter to me. And then make negotiations difficult. And then create a lot of hate for the other opponent. And by using your own fan base to do that. When you're not doing it yourself, you haven't stepped up. And that's the fact of it. You just haven't. And I've said, even way back when, I said, how do we know? Wilder might be the best heavyweight right now. Maybe, possibly. We don't know. And here we are 2 years later, I'm still saying the same thing. He could be. But we're not going to find out because he's not taking these fights. Wilder's only getting older now. He's going to slow down. And when you just rely on one big punch, history tells you, you will get caught. You will get either outboxed and lose royally, or you'll get counterpunched and get put out. We've seen it time and time again. So going back onto what Wilder says, yes, absolutely. A loss should never define you. And he says that he doesn't care about his record. Before the Tyson Fury fight, him and his fans were all talking about him breaking Marciano's record of 49-0. He wants to go to 50-0 and whatever else, which is great, but it's not difficult to do when you're fighting the level of opposition that he was. But now he's got a draw on his record. He can't beat Marciano's record. Marciano never had any losses nor draws on his record. Wilder has. Can't be changed. It should be a loss, let's be real, but it's in fact a draw. So he can't beat Marciano's record now anyway. That's why he doesn't care about his record. So therefore, go out, make the fights. Him against Joshua, he's going to get paid very, very well. Listen, he's already financially secure, so what difference does it make? For Joshua, it's a business. It is. He also wants to be undisputed, which is why he's offered Wilder way much more than what he actually brings to the table. And we've seen that. Again, it's not to have a go at Wilder, but against Deontay Brazil, the arena was half empty. There was 6,000 short. The views on free Showtime, not pay-per-view, but free Showtime, were terrible. It's his second worst. So I don't understand why these fights not happening either, Deontay. What I do is because you're not making the fights. And now you want the fans to be patient and, the fans should let it marinate and all this kind of thing. Listen, just make the fight. I can't think of anything other than to say then just make the fight. You were offered 100 million to take on Joshua for 2 fights, guaranteed. So even if you lost, let's see how you bounce back, as he says, because you get a guaranteed rematch. I don't know whether or not Joshua would give him 50-50. Listen, I think a lot of this is about ego. Wilder doesn't want to be seen as second best. But if Joshua ends up giving 50-50, Wilder will also change the goalpost. Okay, so even though I've got one belt and I can't sell a ticket, I want 50-50, but also, Joshua, you're going to have to come fight in my country. So again, it's no longer 50-50, is it? He'll probably insist that he comes to the ring second. It's all that kind of thing. He'll insist that it's Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. These are the kind of technical things that he will try and push. And if Joshua says, yes, okay, I do think that Wilder will find a way of not doing it. But ultimately, it's okay for Wilder to say, yes, it's okay to take a loss and whatever else, and his fans don't react to it, even though they did with Joshua. But you have to do it. You have to take the risk. Maybe Wilder will never lose. Maybe, who knows? Maybe he'll go on for the next 10 fights or however long it is that he's got and not lose. But we need to see the risk. There's no risk for him right now. A rematch with Luis Ortiz is not a fight that really interests anybody anymore. We've already seen it. A year ago, we've seen it. Why do we need to see it again? Has Luis Ortiz earned that title shot? No, he lost. But anyway, I mean, I do agree with what he says. about taking a loss. A loss should never define you. And yeah, fans do want to know how you bounce back. If you take a loss, you take a loss. Fans will be upset for about a day or two. After then, they'll get back on, they'll support you again. Let's see how you bounce back. And at least with Joshua, you've got a guaranteed rematch. So there's no reason why you can't take that fight. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it all. Article in the description box. Go give it a read. Click the thumbs up to this video and subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.